Amen.
Hello? You better be careful who you follow off somewhere. Faithful, faithful, faithful. The second thing about the motive and life is that freshness, that smell, but not only the smell, but the color. I mean, you know, this kind of, I don't know what you call this green right here. That's not my favorite color, green. But there is a freshness to the color green. Y'all do realize that, don't you?
Amen.
There's a freshness in the springtime about the color green when you've seen all of those dead trees and all those dead shrubs and all those dead flowers, and all of a sudden, friend, those little bitty green leaves start popping out everywhere. There's just a freshness about that. And the whole aroma of things just change. And springtime is such a wonderful time of the year because everything just seems to start resurrecting back to life. Everything starts getting green again. The grass that's been brown and crunchy all winter long, and now it starts turning green all over again, and you look out and you're just waiting for it all to get green and start growing a little bit so you can walk out there with your bare feet, walking on God's natural carpet, and man, it's just got a freshness to it. And that's what Christians need to have about them, is a freshness.
Amen.
Amen.
Not be stale and all that other stuff, man. I'm telling you. Some of the brethren. The third thing about the motive is not only faithfulness and freshness, but its fullness. We're about to get to that season. The days are getting shorter. The nights are getting longer. And the reason for that is because the earth and its orbit's getting further away from the sun.
Right.
The farther that the earth gets away from the sun, the greater the gravitational pull of the earth has on itself and the things that occupy it. The trees that are classified as hardwoods are the ones that lose their leaves in the wintertime. They're the ones that in the fall, what we're fixing to see, you know, people come to see the changing of the leaves. But the reason why those leaves change color is because the further that the earth gets away from the sun and the more the gravitational pull of the earth itself has upon itself, what it starts doing is, in those hardwood trees, it starts pulling the sap down out of the leaves, out of the limbs, down the trunk, and into the root system. Life of the flesh is in the blood.
Yeah.
And the blood of that tree is the sap. And so the life is leaving those leaves. And those leaves die. And when those leaves die, they fall off. And there's no, you know, really, in nature, there's not much uglier a picture than to go through a forest in the wintertime that is all hardwoods. Because it's just dead.
Yeah.
You just look and it's so dead. And it's so depressing. You ever noticed that? It's just so depressing. But you know, in the midst of that, if you can see one evergreen on a hillside somewhere standing up, you know what it does? It gives you a little hope. Hey, look. Hey, Mom, did you see that? Look at that. There's one that's not dead.
Right. Amen.
Listen, you need to be an evergreen Christian. If you're not, then when fall and winter seasons come in your Christian life, and it feels as though you're getting further away from the Lord, from the sun, then the gravitational pull of this world will have a hold of you.
Yeah.
And it'll suck the life out of you.
Amen.
Yeah.
And there won't be a fullness about your life. There needs to be a fullness about your life. Be not drunk with wine where it's excess, but be filled with the Spirit. There needs to be that fullness. Folks need to see that fullness in in you.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, we could say a lot more right there. Let me give you this one. The mystery of the evergreen. It weathers the cold, it doesn't dry up. And you know what the reason for that is? Sap. You watch when the snow falls on those evergreens, and you'll notice, friend, that it may still be cloudy and you can't see the sun anywhere, but you notice just over the course of time, you notice that for some reason that snow is falling off after it's laid there for a period of time, and it's turned into a dusting to inches, but then all of a sudden you just see it, and you get to walking around the tree, and you recognize that something has taken place, and that something that's taken place is that the warmth of that sap that's still flowing up and down the trunk and out and back in the limbs, the warmth of that sap, friend, if the sun isn't shining, is still the warmth that causes the snow and the ice to melt off that tree. So when everything else is still white, man, it's green and it's shining. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
It doesn't wither in the cold.
That's right.
It doesn't dry up in the winter. Be careful about the winter times of your life. In the winter time, there's a lot of cold winds blowing. You all understand, right?
Yeah.
Amen.
The wind of discouragement, the wind of despair, winds of doubt, winds of defeat. Well, they howl in the winter time.
Yeah.
But if you're an evergreen Christian, wind's not bothering you, because that life is still flowing in you. That fullness is still flowing in you. And it's melting as that wind is trying to blow and get you all out of sorts, friend. That sap is flowing on the inside. That joy is still there, Brother Jim. And everything that the elements is trying to drop on you, you're just melting it off.
Amen.
That's a mystery. That's a mystery.
Amen.
God's good at mysteries. Y'all realize that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that not only the mystery of the evergreen is that it weathers the cold and doesn't wither up, but wounds don't destroy it? Unless an evergreen is desperately diseased, man, you can trim them up any time of the year. You can't do that to all trees. Man, there's certain trees, Brother Tate's lived long enough to tell you this, there's just certain trees, if you try to trim them the wrong time of the year, they'll die before next year.
Sure.
They can't heal themselves back. Those wounds get them. But that evergreen, and you go out right in the middle of the summer and you start trimming those limbs off them boxwoods. Did you know that boxwood's an evergreen? You trim those limbs and you just watch, and maybe you get to the end of a hedgerow and you come back and you start looking at where you started, and you see where that sap has run out in that wound, and just starts covering it up and sealing it over like a scale. And it protects it from the elements. You know one of the things that it protects it from? You know one of the things that attacks trees when you cut them? Bugs. A lot of them are flying bugs.
Yeah.
That's Beelzebub bugs.
Yeah.
Amen.
So that sap in that evergreen, man, it forms a big old scab, and it gets really hard to where Beelzebub can't get to the wound.
Amen.
It heals itself. And that's a mystery. That's a mystery. And some of y'all this morning, You're wounded. There's people in this building that's wounded for different reasons this morning. But I'm telling you, if you're an evergreen Christian, that sap will just flow out. It'll just put that healing touch on there. And over a period of time, everything will be all right.
Amen.
Amen.
Now, it'll take time, but it'll be all right. Hey, church, do you realize that as an evergreen Christian, this is part of your responsibility as well? Our love sometimes needs to be that sap that just flows over the Christian that's been wounded. Our compassion, our revealing to them that we really care. Well, I'll tell you, y'all are so quiet this morning. Y'all are just... But let me tell you this, the third mystery about that evergreen is it worships the sun.
Amen.
Doesn't make no difference that the winds of despair are blowing. It doesn't make any difference that the cold winds of depression are blowing and defeat in other people's lives is blowing. This winter, listen, latter part of December, first part of January, when it's so cold, just take you a drive on 40 through the gorge over to Newport. You're going to find that most of those trees through that gorge is hardwoods. And it's just going to be dead looking and eerie looking. But every once in a while, Miss Carrie, you'll come around the bend, come around the corner, and you look up on one side or the other, and somewhere on that hillside, in the midst of all that death, you'll see one evergreen standing like this in the midst of it all.
Amen.
What's it doing? Man, it's worshiping the sun.
Amen.
Amen.
Now, do you realize, some people don't know this, but evergreens are still growing in the wintertime. And one of the reasons why those evergreens are still growing in the wintertime is because now that all these other leaves are gone. And especially those that are on the eastern side of this evergreen. That during the summer months, it's got all those leaves and steals so much of that sunshine off of this evergreen down here and stunts its growth for a period of time. When all those leaves are gone, then as soon as that sun comes across the crest of that hill, all the hours that sun's shining,
Right.
now that evergreen is soaking up the rays of the sun.
Amen. Amen.
God intends for a winter time in your life, friend, to be a tremendous growing season if you're an evergreen Christian.
Amen.
Just worship the sun.
Amen.
Everybody else is, you just keep worshiping the sun.
That's right.
When everybody else tells you there's no reason to, you just be an evergreen Christian and you just keep worshiping the sun.
Amen.
Amen.